stage, guys. You're gonna love him. Please welcome, nice and warmly and loud for Jeremy Hellwig, guys. Jeremy Hellwig.
So recently I was at a comedy club, and I got off stage, and I went to the bathroom, and a couple minutes later, an audience member came in, and he tried to open the stall door, and he went, "Oops, sorry, I didn't realize there was anyone in there. By the way, good set tonight." And I was like, did he just look through the crack enough to identify me as the guy from earlier? So I was like, thanks, I guess. And he goes, yeah, there were some winners and some losers. So he's both pervert guy and backhanded compliment guy. So a few minutes later, we were both washing our hands at the sink. He turns to me, he goes, so you comics, do you guys like to do hard drugs and get fucked up and shit? I was like, I don't. Are you trying to buy drugs off of me? What is this? And he goes, because I'm from a day and age when comics like Sam Kinison were all doing heroin and killing themselves. Why don't you guys do that anymore? Because we probably read that the heroin was making people kill themselves. Also, you're my age. What do you mean day and age? You read a fucking Wikipedia article about Sam Kinison? And then I realized that he was the guy that was vaping so hard in the front row, I felt like an NBA player being introduced. Which is cool until I realized it was banana flavored. That's the grossest thing you're gonna hear tonight, and everyone's talking about dicks. So one of my friends told me this crazy story recently. He was like, I really dodged a bullet because the last 3 girls I dated all got herpes from the next guy they slept with. And I was like, that is kind of crazy. And I thought about it. I don't think my friend realizes he has herpes. That's the only explanation. And I should tell him that I deduced this before he just makes it worse. So yeah. After I graduated college, I went and I taught English at a university in China for a year. And one thing that happened was all my students, they wanted me to give them an English name, like John or Sally or whatever. But the problem is, whenever I had lesson planned, I'd like to drink a few beers. So let's just say right now in China, there's a cute little girl tells white people her name's Octopussy. She's doing better than Finger Bang, though. He's having a hard time. I also almost got in a fight with a Chinese guy at some point, and I learned that if you're going to try and intimidate somebody, you should just use your own language. Because I said, how about you get the fuck out of my face? And he said, no, you fuck my face. I was like, I'm an English teacher, I can explain what went wrong, you're not going to like it. But then again, maybe that's just how he fights. Maybe that was a trap. That's the most vulnerable position to fight from. At least that I can think of. So guys, I figured out what everyone on the internet wants to happen. It's 3 things, at least based on my Facebook. 1, they want Bernie Sanders to murder Donald Trump and get away with it. Everyone would just jizz on their screen and then post the same 6 articles that had happened for 9 months. Second thing they really want is they really want science to justify something about their personality. All the articles they're sharing. It's like, oh, this says that introverts make the best lovers. I'm going to timidly share the fuck out of that one. It's like having a beard and being bald is the best decision. Yeah, I'm sharing that. And then the other guy's like, not having a beard means you don't have poop on your face. Oh, hey, sharing that. Like, they could publish an article that says, if you have a pinky toe, you got a big dick. Every man's gonna be like, oh, okay, how can I share this more than once? I got 2 pinky toes. It's like, no, they fucking made that up, obviously. The third thing that everyone really wants on the internet is they really want Idris Elba to play a character they've heard of before. He just won 2 SAG Awards. You can see him in movies, but people are like, oh my god, what if he was James Bond? Oh man, it'd make the racists so mad. It's like, no, racists are already mad. That's what racism is. You don't have to poke the bear on that one. It's already happening. He's like, oh man, he could be Doctor Who, it'd be post-racial. No, that's not what that word means. What are you doing? And now it's like, he could be the guy from the Dark Tower series. It's like, what if Idris Elba as Lucy from Peanuts, huh? We'd have to explain what a football is because he's British, whatever. Idris Elba is Garfield, huh? Finally, Garfield's allowed to actually say the N-word. Subtext becomes text. I said that line one time, and it was mostly black people in the audience, and they laughed so hard I later Googled, is Garfield actually racist? I thought I made that. Idris Elba as a different character from The Wire, because, why not? Just do it again. Idris Elba could be Ron Weasley, guys, huh? He's British. And then Harry Potter's like, you've changed so much. And he's like, we live in a world where magic exists. The bad guy hit on the back of another man's head for a year. Why can't I become an attractive black actor? And Hermione's like, I don't have a problem with this. So I think it's weird that people always make jokes about women that like they think have a lot of sex about them being like dirty or broken or whatever. Like at some point in high school, like people always like, oh, you better wrap it up, and it's like, what are you talking about? Like in high school at some point, some girl supposedly had sex with 2 dudes, and someone's like, oh, I bet she's worn out like an old sock. And it's like she had sex with 2 high school dudes. That's like 30 seconds tops total. And they're like regular dicks. They're not knocking down buildings. What are you talking about? Like a human baby is supposed to come through there. It's built to last. Your regular dick's not fucking blowing out the drywall. But like, and feminists say the reason men make those jokes is because men are intimidated by female sexuality. But I don't think they're thinking that far ahead. I think they just think their dicks are so cool that they're gonna like blow up whatever they touch. It's like, I'm become death, destroyer of holes. Come on, Oppenheimer. Put your dick away, Oppenheimer. Like it's turning into the Hulk, but on a much smaller scale. It's like the size of the comic book character. I told that joke one time, and another comic came up to me. He goes, "It's not that I think my dick's powerful; it's that I know I have HPV." And I hated him so much, but I'm like, that's the closer to that joke now. That's too good to pass up. And still, fuck you. So I saw this really cool joke on a Laffy Taffy rapper recently. It was written by an 8-year-old, and it was, why did the bowling pins stop working? And the answer was, because they were on strike. Now that joke is amazing, because that's written by an 8-year-old that knows about labor relations. What are his other jokes? He's like, what did the exploitative capitalist get when he fell off his bike? Scabs! This kid's really reading above his grade level. This is crazy. So I was inspired to write my own, and it's, why did the bowling ball stop working? It's because the customer stuck a finger in all 3 holes and they'd rather not go back to work right now. So I don't know how long they take to process submissions at Laffy Taffy, but wait a couple months, look for Jeremy H. from Maplewood, 28. You'd be like, guys, I saw this joke live. The coolest kid in the whole playground. So I used to work at a JCPenney, and one thing that happened was when I first got hired, they just had us sit in the back room and just watch training videos like the whole week. I think the reason they did that, they're like, hey, can you stay seated in one spot for 6 hours without falling asleep? Because that's the job. That and don't steal enough that we notice it. So like, but my favorite of the videos, it was called a pickle video, because the guy that made it, he like owns a chain of restaurants, and you get a free pickle with every sandwich. So he calls helping a customer a pickle because it's cheap, it's easy, it makes him happy. That makes sense, but they didn't explain that at first. It was all examples. He was like, if you see a customer that can't find the escalator, just give him the pickle. This is a weird way to do sexual harassment training. It's like, if you give him a good pickle, he'll leave with a smile on his face and be more likely to come back. Like, I don't think that's why he's at JCPenney, dude. You can get that at Kohl's. That joke destroyed in the JCPenney break room. They hate Kohl's so much. So I was at a bar a little bit ago, ago, and I sat down on a tiny piece of glass, and it cut my butt cheek a little bit. Don't worry, I'm fine. But I went to take care of it, and there's normally nobody in the bathroom there. So I walked in and just reached my hand down my pants, pulled it out, and I went, oh, good. I look up, there's like 5 guys waiting to use the urinal, just looking right at me. So I try to like mutter an excuse to myself, but so they could hear it. Like if you push on a door and then you realize it says pull, you're like, oh, let me get that for you. That door gets stuck every time, right, guys? I tried to do that, except what I said was, just checking to make sure my butt's not still bleeding. And then I left. My name's Jeremy. You guys have a good night.